Janice is dealing out 2 brand new decks of cards, and here comes a new challenger on card sharks. Ralph Rodheim. Hi, Ralph. Good to have you here.
Thank you.
Why don't you tell us something about yourself, sir?
I live in the greatest community, planned community there is, Irvine. We're a new city. We're becoming a city. We even have a movie theater opening in a couple of weeks. I also teach high school psychology, and we've got the greatest kids. Irvine High School, tremendous kids, really, really neat kids. We're hosting the 1980 National Swim Championship coming up. Do a lot of that.
That's super
really fun.
High school psychology, that's interesting. I didn't realize that they had psychology.
They teach me more than I teach them, believe me.
I would imagine so. Nice to have you here, Ralph.
Thank you.
You got the cards?
I did.
Then here we go. We decide the best 2 out of 3 with a question to the champion. And Mildred, that means you. Mildred, listen carefully. We asked 100 bachelors, would you respect a woman who had never said no to a man? How many bachelors would respect a woman who never said no?
Well, I think men have to have respect and women have to say no sometimes, not maybe every time, but sometimes. So I think they wouldn't have much respect for someone who never said no. Low number, like 20.
20 out of 100 men would respect a woman who never said no, Ralph.
Okay, well, these guys, they might have heard the no, but boy, they're going to respect them, and they don't want to hear that no. So it's got to be a higher.
You say higher. Oh,
higher.
They're not going to hear the no.
They're not going to hear that. No, it's got to be higher.
Interesting. I get the feeling that the psychology professor is making more out of this, but let's find out. 20 said Mildred, higher says Ralph. The actual number of bachelors who would respect a woman who never said no is, he's right, 34. It's higher. Let's go. Maybe they don't hear it. Ralph, you start with a 2.
All right, higher.
Higher than a 2. A 10.
Let's go lower.
Risking it lower. Oh, no, an ace is not lower. And right away, it's Mildred with a free chance to play. A 6.
Go higher.
Higher than a 6. I'll get it. Oh, see, I knew it was a bad card, Mildred. It didn't want to turn over. Janice, you can fill in the spaces, and I'll practice cards. Ralph, this question to you. Ralph, we asked 100 parents who have a draft-age son. Do you support the president's decision to reinstate draft registration? How many parents with a draft-age son do support the president's decision to reinstate registration for the draft?
There might be quite a few patriotic people, and they really are for the country, but when it comes to their own sons, that's a different story. So I'm going to pick a pretty low number, 25.
25 out of 100 do support the president.
I think that parents, even though it's their own son, they have this feeling of patriotism. They want their son to be respected, and I believe it'll be higher.
You say higher. 25 for Ralph, higher for Mildred. The actual number of parents who support the president's decision to reinstate registration for the draft is 55. Mildred is right. It is higher. Mildred, you have a 6.
Got to higher.
You're going to play the 6?
Oh, no. I thought it was on the low.
Oh, I haven't turned it over.
You changed the 6, please.
If you'd like that, of course. We'll see if we can improve it. Well, it could change.
Higher.
Higher than the 2. A queen.
Lower.
Lower than the queen. A 6.
Higher.
Higher. She wants to risk it. Higher it is.
Freeze.
Now she freezes. Somehow I thought since you were going to play it at first, you were going to play it that time too. Mildred, we asked 100 school bus drivers. If a kid said to you, "Stop the bus, I have to go to the bathroom," would you stop or tell him to hold it? How many mean school bus drivers would tell him to hold it?
I think bus drivers have to say to hold it, because if they stopped with 50 kids on a bus, that they'd have problems. So they have to say hold it.
And the kids have the problems if they don't stop.
I'm going to say that. Now, the question is how many?
How many school bus drivers would tell him to hold it?
I think a high number. I would say 72.
72 out of 100. Ralph, what do you think?
Well, I think they would also say that they have to hold it because if they had a stop or there was an accident, they've got to clean the bus, and they don't want to do that. But it's going to be, even so, it's going to be a little higher. They've got to hold it. Nowhere to stop. So it's going to be a little higher than 72.
Say higher. All right. It does paint a mental picture, though, doesn't it, friends? The actual number of mean school bus drivers who would tell a kid to hold it is 73 by 1. It is higher. Ralph.
Okay, we're going to play that number.
I'm glad
let's go higher.
On those buses. Higher. It is a 10.
Ooh, let's go lower.
Risking it lower. This time it is.
Okay, I'm going to keep going. Higher.
Higher than the 5. It is a king.
God, I'm going all the way lower.
Into the match. Yes. Throws it all over. Game 1 to the challenger. Took a couple of chances there, and it paid off. Couple of gutsy calls by the challenger, and he has game one, and Janice will deal out same 2 decks of cards with the next cards off the top of the deck. Ralph, we start game 2 with a question to you. Ralph, we asked 100 marriage counselors. Generally speaking, is it a good idea for a married woman to make her husband a little jealous every now and then? How many marriage counselors think it is a good idea for a married woman to make her husband jealous?
Well, you want to keep the old man, you want to keep him looking, and you want him to look, but you want him to keep interest at home. And so I think they're probably going to want him to keep a little jealous. I'm going to go with 60.
60 out of 100 marriage counselors said, yeah, that's a good idea.
I think that the wives must keep them a little jealous to keep them interested, just a little. So I'd go a little higher.
Even higher than that. The actual number of marriage counselors who think it's a good idea for a married woman to make her husband jealous every now and then is 23. It is not higher at all.
Okay.
I didn't think it was. I think you're kind of playing games when you do that sort of thing. Ralph, you're going to start this game with a queen.
Oh, I like her. That's okay. Let's go lower.
Lower than a queen. Yes, a 6.
Freeze.
And Ralph taking a little more conservative this time, and we'll find out if the conservation pays off right after this. Okay, game 1 went to the challenger, and in game 2, Ralph has turned over a couple of cards. He now has a 6 as his base card, and we pick up with question 2 to you, Mildred. Mildred, we asked 100 professional striptease dancers. Professional striptease dancers, does your mother know what you do for a living? How many strippers said their mother knows what they do for a living?
In today's world, I don't think that children try to keep things from their parents. They tell them how it is, and if they don't like it, it's too bad. So I think a great number would. I would say at least 76.
76 out of 100 say, yeah, mom knows what they do. Ralph?
Boy, I know that what goes on with kids, their parents have no idea what happens. No idea what happens. And if I was going to go in a male strip show, they do that nowadays. It's crazy, but they do it. I'd let nobody know. Lower.
Have you ever entertained the thought?
Not even entertained the thought, no.
The actual number of strippers who said their mother knows what they do for a living is 69. It's a little lower. Ralph, you're right. Not that much lower.
Change that.
Now he can change that 6.
Be good.
It is good.
I love it. Higher
than a 3. An 8.
Gotta freeze.
Again, Ralph takes a 1-card advantage, but of course that keeps Mildred away from her cards. Ralph, we asked 100 people. Have you ever bought something before? Interesting question, I think very timely. 100 people. Have you ever bought something before you really needed it just because you were afraid the price would go up? How many people have bought something before they needed it just because they were afraid prices would go up?
Well, if you asked this 10 years ago, I'd have a different answer. But now the way prices are going up, if you don't buy it now, you're never going to get it, especially in the housing market. My golly. It's going to be a fairly good number. Let's pick 72.
72 out of 100 say, yeah, they've bought that way.
Today's inflation, I think people are doing this all the time. Like Ralph, I agree with him. I think it might be a bit higher.
Even higher than that. Oh, we are having the inflation, that's true. The actual number of people who bought something before they needed it because they were afraid prices would go up is 64. It is not higher. It's a little lower, but it is a very large
number. Come on, baby.
And Ralph,
let's change that. Change that card.
And he's going to give
Come on, be good. Be good. I love it. Higher.
Higher than a 3, a 5.
Higher. Let's go.
Champion, if it's higher, yes. A new champion. Mildred, thank you for joining us. You did very well, leaving us with $1,200. You be careful with that car racing.
Okay.
Mildred Starr. Come on out here, Ralph. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And Ralph Rodheim goes for the big money right after we take time out for this commercial break. Way to go. Good champion.
Thank you.
We have run out of time. We don't have time to play the money cards now. We really want to give you as much time as necessary to think your way through it, so we'll play that at the top of the next show. I do have a couple of seconds. I wanted to ask you, as a psychologist in high school, which it fascinates me in the first place, is it harder nowadays to be a teenager growing up? You know what I mean?
I think it's very difficult to be a teenager now. I think it's always been hard. This is a very difficult time of development. But I think with the pressures that are put upon youth today, it's really hard.
They'll come through, though.
Oh, there's no doubt in my mind. It's great.
Ralph goes for the big money on our next show. Thank you, Ray. He's a nice gentleman. We've got people with us from Grand Forks, North Dakota, and Buffalo, New York. Come down and join us. Bye-bye for now.
See Skyway's newest luggage for easier handling on stairs, curbs, and tight places. Upright luggage on wheels, outdoor twist fabric in blazer blue, furnished by Skyway. And some of our contestants will receive a kitchen tool set Raviolios, the round ravioli from Franco-American with a plump, tasty Middles beef or new cheese. They're a delicious dish for the whole family. Try them today. A silver tray and Lipton iced tea in the winter? Why not, says Don Meredith. You drink other cold drinks in the winter. Why not Lipton iced tea made from tea bags? Dandy tasting. A shaving kit and sensational tannery. Safely cleans, conditions, and helps protect leather or vinyl shoes, boots, purses, furniture, car tops, and interiors. Tannery helps them last longer. This is Gene Wood speaking for Card Sharks, a Mark Goodson-Bill Todman production.